Hello and welcome to my presentation. This is a potential project that I would be doing as the instructional designer, and the project would be called Enhancing High School Teaching with Technology. My name is Taylor Burns, and here we go. So, the project overview. This instructional design project aims to enhance the teaching practices of high school educators by integrating new technological skills into their classrooms. Drawing upon the principles discussed in the training session, we will develop a comprehensive instructional design plan to facilitate effective technology integration, ultimately enriching the learning experiences of students. So here I have listed the goal, the approach, and the outcome. So a little bit about myself before we kind of dive into this. My name is Taylor Burns, and that is a picture of me. That's last year's school picture. I am going to be the instructional designer on this project. I'm very passionate about what I do. I always try to make it student-centered. I always try and have an inclusive design. I use evidence-based practice. I love collaboration. And I always strive for continuous improvement because none of us are perfect, and it's important to understand that there's always room for growth. All right, so whose responsibilities on this project? And I wanted to explain each individual person that would be involved in this project. So there's 6 different types of people that would be involved. The first one I want to start with is the high school educators, which is going to be who this training is geared towards. So the high school educators are going to be responsible for actively participating in the training sessions and professional development opportunities that are provided. They're also going to be implementing the new technological skills and instructional strategies into their teaching practices. They're also going to be providing feedback on the effectiveness of the technology integration efforts and its impact on student learning. The instructional designer, which is me, conducts the needs assessments to understand current technology integration levels and identify opportunities for improvement. I will also design and develop instructional materials and resources tailored to the needs of high school educators. I will also provide training and support to educators for effectively integrating technology into their teaching practices. And I will also collaborate with educators to evaluate the effectiveness of the technology integration efforts and make adjustments as needed. Next up is administrators. Administrators will be supporting the implementation of the instructional design project by allocating resources such as time, funding, and technology infrastructure. They will also encourage and facilitate participation in professional development opportunities for educators. They will also provide leadership and guidance to ensure alignment between the instructional design project and the school's main goals and priorities. And the last thing that administrators will do is monitor and evaluate the impact of the technology integration efforts on teaching practices and student learning outcomes. The next one that I'm going to be talking about is the subject matter experts, the SMEs. They will provide expertise and guidance on the content and curriculum areas relevant to the instructional design project. They will also collaborate with the instructional designer to develop high-quality instructional materials and resources that align with learning objectives. They will also offer insights and feedback on the integration of technology into specific subject areas and instructional practices. Next up are the students. Now, what are the students going to be doing? Hopefully, by improving all of the technology that we can be implementing into our classroom, the students are going to be engaged actively in the learning experiences facilitated by the high school educators supported by the instructional design project. They will also provide feedback on the experiences with technology integration in the classroom and its impact on their learning. The students will also utilize technological tools and resources to enhance their learning and academic achievements. The students will also collaborate with educators and peers in technology enhanced learning activities and projects. And last but not least, the parents and the guardians of those students. In hopes that all of this will help at school, at home, they will be supporting their children's participation in technology enhanced learning experiences by providing access to necessary resources, such as devices and internet connectivity. They will stay informed about the instructional design project and its objectives, as well as any changes or updates to the curriculum or teaching practices. And lastly, they will also provide feedback on the observations and experiences regarding the impact of technology integration on their children's learning and academic progress. So, what does this process look like? So, let's add a timeline. To outline the process of the instructional design project and define milestone dates, we'll break it down into several key phases. So, the first phase is the needs assessment. This is going to be conducted during week 1 to 2, and it's going to be conducting surveys, interviews, and observations to assess current technology integration levels and identify areas of improvement. This is where we will analyze data and stakeholder feedback to determine the specific needs and objectives of the project. The next phase is planning and goal setting. This is going to take place during week 3 to 4. And this is where we define clear and measurable goals for the project aligned with the needs identified during the assessment phase. This is where we will develop the project plan outlining tasks, timelines, and responsibilities of each team member. This is where we will also identify potential challenges and risks and develop strategies to address them proactively. The next phase is the design and development phase. This is going to take place during week 5 to 8. This is where we will collaborate with stakeholders to design instructional materials and resources that integrate new technological skills into teaching practices. We will develop training modules, workshops, and support materials for educators to enhance their technology proficiency. We will also create assessment tools and evaluation measures to assess the effectiveness of the technology integration efforts. The next phase is implementation. So this is going to take place during week 9 to 12, and we will roll out the instructional design plan and training materials to high school educators. We will also provide ongoing support and guidance to educators as they integrate new technological skills into their teaching practices. We will also monitor implementation progress and address any challenges or issues that arise. The next phase is evaluation and feedback. This is going to happen during week 13 to 14, and it's when we will conduct formative evaluations to gather feedback from educators and students on their experiences with technology integration. We will analyze evaluation data to assess the impact of the project on teaching practices and student learning outcomes. We will also use feedback to make adjustments and improvements to the instructional design plan as needed. And the last phase, reflection and continuous improvement. This is going to happen between week 15 and 16. And this is where we will reflect on the project outcomes and the lessons learned throughout the process. We will identify successes and areas of improvement and develop strategies for ongoing professional development and support. We will document best practices and recommendations for future technological integration efforts. The milestone dates are listed below, and this is going to be when all of the different phases will end. So the needs assessment will be completed by the end of week 2. The project plan will be finalized by the end of week 4. Instructional materials will be developed by the end of week 8. Implementation begins week 9. Formative evaluation is conducted at the end of week 14, and the final project report and recommendations will be ending by week 16. These milestone dates provide a framework for tracking progress and ensuring that the project stays on schedule. However, it's important to remain flexible and responsive to changes or unexpected challenges that may arise during the course of the project. Regular communication and collaboration with stakeholders will be essential for successful project implementation and achieving the desired outcomes. So, what are my expectations as the instructional designer? Working with subject matter experts and other stakeholders is crucial for the success of the instructional design project. Here are my expectations for collaboration with SMEs and other stakeholders. Clear communication is number one. This I expect to have clear communication channels for sharing information, feedback, and updates throughout the project. I expect expertise and insights. I want the SMEs to provide subject-specific expertise and insights relevant to the project goals and objectives. Collaboration and input. I would like to foster a collaborative working environment where all stakeholders have the opportunity to contribute ideas, suggestions, and feedback. Timely responses and availability. I expect the SMEs and stakeholders to be responsive and available to participate in meetings, discussions, and review sessions as needed. Flexibility and adaptability. I would hope to recognize that priorities and circumstances may change throughout the project and be prepared to adapt plans and strategies accordingly. Commitment to project goals. I would like to ensure that all stakeholders are aligned with the overarching goals and objectives of the instructional design project. I would like to maintain a shared commitment to enriching teaching practices, technology integration, and student learning outcomes. By fostering effective collaboration and communication with SMEs and stakeholders, we can leverage their expertise and insights to design and implement impactful instructional interventions that meet the needs of learners and achieve the desired outcomes for this project. So, what are my questions that I would ask the potential SMEs or stakeholders? As an instructional designer for a project focused on integrating new technological skills into high school classrooms, I would ask the subject matter expert a range of questions to gather insights, clarify objectives, and inform the instructional design process. The following questions are the ones I would focus on. The first being technology integration. So, what are the challenges or barriers to effectively integrating technology into teaching practices? The next question would be focused on student needs and preferences. So, what are the diverse needs, learning styles, and preferences of students in high school classrooms? The following question would be focused on educational goals and objectives. So, are there any specific subject areas or topics where technology integration is particularly relevant or impactful? And then the last being available technological resources. So, how can we ensure equitable access to technology for all students regarding their background or resources? What would my follow-up steps be? So, the first being having meetings with the stakeholders and the SMEs to ensure that we can discuss the project objectives, expectations, and timelines. The next would be the needs assessment. So I would conduct a comprehensive needs assessment to gather data on current technology integration levels. Identify specific challenges and opportunities and determine the unique needs of educators and students. The next being goal setting and planning. I would define clear and measurable goals for the instructional design project based on the findings of the needs assessment. Next step would be collaboration and resource allocation. I would collaborate with stakeholders to allocate resources such as technology, infrastructure, funding, and professional development opportunities to support the project. The next step would be design and development. I would work closely with the SMEs, educators, and technology specialists to design instructional materials, training modules, and resources that integrate new technological skills into teaching practices. The next step would be implementation and training. So I would roll out the instructional design plan and training materials to high school educators through workshops, professional development sessions, and ongoing support mechanisms. I would provide hands-on training and guidance to educators on how to effectively integrate technology into their teaching practices and leverage digital tools and resources to enhance student learning experiences. Next would be evaluation and feedback. I would implement formative evaluation measures to assess the effectiveness of the technology integration efforts and gather feedback from educators and students. I would analyze evaluation data to identify strengths, areas of improvement, and opportunities for refinement in the instructional design plan and implementation strategies. The last step would be continuous improvement. I would use evaluation findings and stakeholder feedback to make adjustments and improvements to the instructional design plan and technology integration strategies. I would foster a culture of continuous improvement by reflecting on lessons learned, shared best practices, and implementing ongoing professional development opportunities for educators. By following these follow-up steps, the instructional design project can progress effectively from planning and development to implementation and evaluation, ultimately leading to enhanced teaching practices and enriched learning experiences for high school educators and students alike. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation.